G'day guys. Just had a quick look to make sure I'm recording because this is the second crack I've had at this. I went through it all before and found at the end that there was no volume. I'd plugged in my headset jack instead of the actual microphone. So it's a bit weird how stuff happens there as well. In the interim period, I decided to take the big unit of a dog for a stroll and just thinking to myself, maybe it's time's come. I think it's probably as good a time or any on the Gallop front just to pull the pin. Obviously this is going to be a bit of a long-winded video. I might actually ensure that I put the race timestamps in the description as well, because obviously with 10 races, including a few features, it's probably going to take us, I think it was about 32 minutes, the first one that I recorded with no volume. But I might, obviously just wrapping it up, I might actually just touch on the journey and why it started and things like that. So I originally started it for a couple of reasons. Like Lonnie Nights was just actually becoming a thing at the time. Like Sky had given us Wednesday nights and dedicated on, what's that channel? Central, is it Sky Central? And I don't think many people now remember how bloody hard it was to do form back then for Tassie. You know, like the Tas Racing website now, and kudos to them, it's very user-friendly now, but back then it was a bloody minefield. It used to take you 2 or 3 hours per race. And there was no public form figure. Now there's plenty of them and a number of very good ones as well. And I think that's a bit of an extension of they couldn't do it before because there was no access to it. Like you had to do it by Sky Racing. It was the only way you got access to replays and things like that. It was terrible. So that's obviously the reason. And plus, I was coming from scratch as well. I'd just returned to Tassie. I'd been living interstate. And so it's betting on the product from interstate. You've only got a scant regard for the actual form in detail, especially back in those days. Now, as I mentioned, it's a bit different nowadays. But the one thing that really always encouraged me, though, was I could always draw back on. In the late 1990s, I worked for Mark Reed, who was Australia's biggest bookmaker at the time, and very high pressure environment. And the amount of punters who were flagged who bet into like niche markets like North Queensland, Northern New South Wales, Western Australia, Tasmania. Virtually it was anything goes, Melbourne and Sydney betting ring, they didn't care. But all the winning punters from those environments, they wanted to know every bet they put on, and they were the ones who really moved the market. So any punters out there, if you want to win on the punt, obviously most people punt for a sociable reason. So on Saturday afternoons, bet Melbourne and Sydney. If you really want to win, find an area that you can concentrate on. You measure apples with apples. Like in Tasmania, the same horses race each other. Even during the course of a meeting, you'll see a horse run out of its skin in race 1 and you think, geez, that horse in race 3 went super against that the other day. So, you know, you can measure the apples with apples. That's what I'm talking about. So, but that's, obviously that gave me the confidence that, well, if I put the work in here and there's nobody else doing it, then you're going to be a chance to get there. And the other, I'm just trying to think on the run here, that the other thing about doing videos is that you've really got to do the form properly, otherwise you're going to look like a right muppet. If you know what I mean. Like, the other thing that's actually done is given me a lot of appreciation for people who work in audio media. Things like football commentators, newsreaders. I think newsreaders record it, but because once you say something on a live recording, you know, like I'm not tech savvy enough to dub out things that I've stuffed up, etc. But if you're writing stuff, you can spell check, grammar check, even delete an entire paragraph or rewrite something because it doesn't read correctly. But if you spit it out live, it's there for everybody to see, and people don't care about the nuance of it, like, oh, he wasn't meaning it that way. It just comes across as, but yeah, especially the way social media is now, it's, people get banned and cancelled for a slight slip of the tongue, but I'm glad I'm not popular. But so anyway, that was the origins of where it all started. I can still remember the first video I ever did was as a tackler. He was resuming as a 3-year-old. He'd had a couple of trials, so the video was of a couple of his trials. And he was 6 as into 6 to 4, and fair walked in. Probably gave me a false sense of security. Truth be told, I don't know how easy is this caper. But it also just reinforced as well that, oh shit, it can be done type of thing. So so I better quit crapping on here. But so just to put a bow on it, wrap it up. Very proud of the results from a Gallup's perspective. Like we're above 25% return on investment for all tips put out on the Gallups. I know in Tasmania you've got to get a higher ROI than other jurisdictions just because the amount of less meetings and races, so you can't get the same amount of, like, you're better off getting 10% on Victorian racing where you've got 80 races where you can obviously improve your turnovers higher than in 25% in Tassie, but still very proud of those results. So you'll see some sites have a good old wank fest about getting nowhere near that, but it just proves if you do stick to it and do it, you'll get those results. But the one thing that's always sort of, I'm trying to think of the right word here, niggled away at me is I've always felt a bit of like imposter syndrome on the Gallups front. Like I always deferred to the knowledge or background of others. Like I've never felt overtly confident in stating my case. I thought, oh yeah, he knows a lot more than me. He's got the background. On the trot side, I'll sort of defend my opinion to the death type of thing. But on the Gallup side, I'll always defer. And and I think that also plays in the fact that I got offered, paid gigs, radio spots, things like that, and I always turned them down just because, it was never about that to begin with, but that just wasn't my cup of tea either. Sort of, like, it's like social media. I'll tell you how silly social media is. I used to run silly Trots account just under sort of pseudonym name. Post heaps of crap, random tips, no form study done. Got thousands of followers. But I followed everybody, never blocked anyone, anything like that. Had thousands of followers. Sort of walked away from all of that. Came back, next iteration of on Twitter. I didn't follow anybody. I think I got to about 700 followers that just putting up videos and results. I just think so. I've got sort of like 20% of the followers putting up, but that's when all those recorded results were like 25% return on investment on Gallops, 40% on trots. And you think to yourself, like, you get thousands when you're putting up crap. You put up results that better than sort of market leading, and you get 20% of the followers. And even you've only got to look on social media, trending topics, like, they're all negative. Christ almighty. When I was walking the dog around the block, I thought to myself, I'm just going to go back to the old original. I'm just going to design a website, put up my own crap, be blissfully unaware whether I've got 2 people reading me stuff or 200. No idea if it's positive or negative. Like it's coming from me anyway. Might even put some silly videos and stuff up, diversify out into sport and footy and other crap like that. And but it's never been about ego or trying to make it financially or anything like that. So everybody who's listened over the years, I'll continue doing the trots thing, primarily because there's nothing wrong with the product Jamie puts out. It's as good as anything out there in trots media as far as tips and stuff go. It might be a tad dated if you're forced to be picky, but it's a very hard product to advertise nowadays for a couple of reasons in Tasmania, but any little bit I can do that helps, I'm happy to keep putting my hand up there. Galbitz-wise, like as I mentioned, I think I mentioned off the top here, there's a number of exceptional form students. And to be honest, when I go through form now, like I never look at anybody else's tips before I do things, but you see them afterwards. And the amount of times you lob on the same horses is unbelievable. As sort of like you look at some classic examples, Matt Reid with Tas Racing, like you look at his tips on the day and you think, oh shit, that's interesting. Whereas before I used to worry if the resident tipster had tipped the same horse as me. Now I'm sort of, actually, because there's method and what he actually writes makes sense. So I think it's superfluous to anything me continuing there, but as I look over here, we've now gone 12 minutes on that bloody, trying to think of the right word. So I'll kick on to this races. So but just to finalise that, everybody has listened and everything. Thank you for putting up with me, but we'll kick off and let's hope we can go out with a winner. So the first race is, actually we'll just start off with the housekeeping stuff. It's the normal Launceston Cup Day rail, out 3 metres, was in the true on Sunday. Last few cup meetings been a strong rail bias, but just this year the track's been unbelievably good. There's been no one-line Holloway nights and things like that, so I'm prepared to work on the basis that things are going to play quite evenly. Had no rain forecast, so I think we'll be good for late in the day. It might harden up a bit, so if it does harden up, it can get leaderish, so maybe look towards pattern there late. But in the first, actually we've got you can see here, I've got the big travelling here in the tab account with 0. We've got a few bets on, don't worry. But, so I think there's 4 main hopes in the betting here. No Excess had a little break since its last start. It's got consistent form in maidens, like being competitive nearly every start. Just think it takes on is a pretty strong maiden, a couple of these. You got the Victorian here in Amabutho. Obviously, it's got a midfield finish at Flemington and Sandown, ran second at Bendigo and Debut. Does look as if 1200's the absolute low end of its distance range. I'll be guessing 1500's probably preferable if you were going to launch in at this type of price, but I might just have a quick look at a jump out it had the other day. So it's horse last in the middle, comes through the middle. You'll just set poking 3 off the outside. So it's underwriting here. This is a 1,000 metre. The winner of the trial out here. It's got fair form around the Western Districts, but see, it's underwriting here. Like, it's not a push button horse, you say, but D. Oliver on, Patrick Kearney's had a good record bringing horses to Tasmania in the past, so definitely respect it, and obviously Bendigo, Sandown and Flemington form is, Bendigo's probably the premier country track in Victoria, and the others speak for themselves. Frenetico, first up for Brunton Stable. Trials look pretty plain on paper and been no money at all, so happy to let it go round. Belpine Miss is the one I'm on. I'll show the replay there in a second. And the other one is Star Note, who was well back last start, had no luck at all. Might just have a quick look at the replay of it. I think those three clearly stand out. So you can see it's just dropped in leaders back here in the orangey and yellow colours. Just still leaders back, just no run comes. And when it does get out, it's got no momentum up, and it doesn't savage the line or anything, but it still makes up ground. But because there's no momentum, it's only just starting to get going again there. So legit excuses last time. But Belpine Miss is the one. Had a very soft trial the other day at Longford. Actually had the barrier blanket. It's wearing barrier blanket for the first time. So I think this trial was more the barrier blanket thing than the actual hit out. So draws the outside. It's just gone in there. White and red colours. I think it's still out. I know. So you can see there. It's jumped okay. And then it's just jog trots around. It's a couple of handy horses, just to give you an idea. It's not being asked to do anything. It's last on the outside, but you got Saxon Mist, the grey horse. It's got fair form. Won a couple of races. Largo Approach back on the inside. Won on Launceston Cup Day. So it's just jog trotted around. So it's run last in the trial, but I think it was, as I said, it was more there to do the barrier blanket pass than anything.
Alpine Assault comes up.
Previous campaign drew the outside gate every start. So you can see the white and red colours, Sydney Swans type colours. So you can see it's hooked out the back to last. Couple of handy horses in here. The winner of the race, geez, I've forgotten its name. It's in the $100,000 race. It's about $6 in that tonight. 3-year-old filly. You can just see goes right to the outside here. This is over the same track and distance, 1200 at Launceston. Just out of picture at the moment. And you got Princess Matioka here, who won a pretty strong maiden Hobart Cup Day. And here she comes right down the outside. Yeah, no, quite keen on her. As I said, I think those three will fight the race out. So numbers-wise, we'll go 7 to beat Respect the Victorian, Amabutho, and 7-4-14, and no access, draws well and always runs well. Just might find a couple of bit classier, but won't be far away. The second, I've got Ruta Play on top. Hard to believe I did 3 years of French at school and I can't even spit it out. But on Tasmanian debut in Hobart, draws barrier 1 in the, it's running like 5th one off the fence here. So from barrier 1 today, it's going to box seat again. You can see on the turn here, excuse me, you've got the grey horse here ridden by Craig Newitt, who's the eventual winner. It tries to come out underneath and have a bit of a bump. So it's the horse in the blue and the white, and you'll see the grey try to come out underneath it, and Troy Baker shuts the door on Craig Newitt and pops him back in, and he's lucky enough to get a gap straight away and go through. And these two, it was about almost a second slower than the Class 1 over the same trip the race before. But he sticks to the guns well there late. You can see they're beaten stronger than anything else on the line, both of them. So from barrier 1, I think he's clearly the horse to beat. He's $3.30. I think it's probably about the right price. Like, you've got horses here like, what was it? Vive is the word, at sort of $9.50. It draws 17, but it was in that race I said that was running quicker time on the same day. Yeah, but I just think barrier 1, it's going to be the horse in the right spot. So race 2, number 10. Race 3, it's a tough race here. You've got GG's Misty's the grey that we pointed out in that last replay. $5 about it. Maybe hold fire if the favourite wins race 2. It obviously enhances GG Misty's chances in this. Sally Sunshine, I do have as a top tip, but you know, what's she? 1 of 13. There's not too much speed in this race. So you've probably got Fencible Flying will definitely go forward, but despite drawing the outside, I reckon it'll be straight over outside the speed. It was ridden back last time at the start before it led and just got nailed on the line in a pretty good race. So I think 10 from 9 are the two main picks there, but obviously yeah, Bill Mister was in the same race as Sally Sunshine there, but yeah, I'm maybe looking for a bet here. Maybe GG Misty, but wait and see how race 2 horse goes to see whether there's a form reference there. The 2100 for the benchmark 64s. I think I have to say I backed the winner of one of these races about 18 years ago. Imagine how it's very hard to pick holes in him. The big thing now is the weight. Over this trip, but he still draws well. Still clearly the one to beat. The rest of them are all quite even. 3's a crowds won a exceptionally truly run race over 2100 a couple back, and then raced on Sunday. Went a good 4th. It's on the quick back up. One that, if you believe what you see, Sunset Gun at double figures, like it beat a number of these, like Banker Glee, where's the rest of True Scotsman, GG Enough Speed, Captain Morgan. And if you just draw a line through the form, like if you believe what you see, the horses who ran 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th ran 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the race the week before in Launceston. So the form stacks up from the last run, but it was the first, as you can see by the figure form, that hadn't done much before that. But if you're just going off that previous run, $10 each way, it's the right bet. So, you know, I never like to get too involved in these 2100 metre races because they no two ever get run the same. So looking at for a bit of value, something each way on Sunset Gun. It'll race on speed, make its own luck. Claim won the other day, claims this week, so it actually gets better at the weights. So Sunset Gun in the 4th. The 5th, this is a race that did my head in, still does if truth be told. You've got Jaguar Stone, who as a form at 1200 metres, she was only a length and a half behind Bellow Bow a couple of times, making good ground off him late. I've always thought that a lot of people always fall for the horse that runs home over 1200. They always think they're a 1400, 1600 metre horse. I had a stinking argument with somebody who said, after one of those 1200 metre runs, oh, she'll beat Bellow Bow when they get to 1400. I said, she'll need a tow rope. The further they go, he'll just keep trucking along at his cruising speed and she'll lose a sprint. People just don't understand that. In my mind, she's always been a 1200 metre get-back sprinter. I might be wrong. But you've also got these top two, Muscle Up, form around him's been very good. Like he Brain, Princess Mataoka, she came out and won a strong maiden on Hobart Cup Day. Miami Sun, his form's been electric. Like, if he drew a gate, I'd back Miami Sun, but he's drawn 8. But I suppose if he drew a barrier, he'd have a 4 in his starting price, not a 6. A few queries here. Like, I'm just not sure if the 1200 metre form these two are coming through, because Jaguar Stone's definitely got the best form lines at the trip, but subsequent to those Bello Bow runs, she's raced over 1600. Is she still going to be that sharp back at 1200? But we might just have a quick look at the replay of Miami Sun there last time. And Muscle Up.
Goes in.
So just going back to last in the green colours. And Muscle Up is outside the leader in the red and yellow. So if we just settle here, third last on the outside is the top weight, and Muscle Up second. Got the senior jockey on this week. A lot to like about him as a horse, Miami Sun. Finds the line. You know, got no card into the race at all here either. Like, obviously, you'd imagine that probably makes a difference if it got a card up. So I think the bet in the race, just with the queries, I would prefer to back something each way. So Miami Sun each way in race number 5. Race 6 is the Royal Rambo Quality over 1200. Great old horse, Royal Rambo. A couple of these low-rated horses at the top of the market, and to be honest, I think it's pretty much spot on. I think Lalo Pluck is deserving favourite. We might just go and have a look at the last run. In this race, you've got Music Edition in it, Liffey Bowes in it, Blaze Forth's in it. Yeah, so a lot of the other major chances. So, and obviously Turk Warrior ran third. He won on the Magic Millions on Sunday.
Just waiting on the...
And the winner of this race, Rebel Factor, obviously not too sure what went wrong in Hobart when finished last. But if we just have a look here, you've got Music Edition back on the inside here with the blinkers. You've got Liffey Bow rolling to the front. This is Julius running second. And Lalo Pluck's in the Brunton colours. So I think most people will be aware of the green with the white cap. I was really... keep thinking she's a female, Lalo Pluck, I think because she had Lady Pluck. But it's a he. And you just see... just getting through the middle here late, and you're sending some serious horses. His Music Edition up the inside. And running past Turk Warrior late, strong on the line. Music Edition, obviously not beaten far, but had perfect run in transit there, beautifully ridden. So very hard to see it turning the table. So happy to have Lalo Pluck on top, even at 360. I think it's not a terrible price. So. And you've got plenty of speed here, like Liffey Bow stuck on okay there. Julius ran second. So should settle in the first, about 6th to 7th, and just be very strong late. So happy to be on Lalo Pluck in the 6th. In the 7th, I don't think we need to spend too much time here. It was the inevitable picks himself. For second... Old Sir Simon, he went okay in Hobart. Might just roll along in front now. Pine Wolf put a clearly the second best horse in the race. Mandela Effect, just think he's probably a couple of lengths off his best, and Swoop Dog's he's gone from Hobart Cup back to the mile, so an outside gate. Just not sure he's got the miles in his legs, like when the inevitable goes. Might just leave him for dead, but yeah. Probably if you're playing exotic, throw Sir Simon in, just bowling along in front. I'd be surprised if he runs worse than fourth. If he runs second, you might get a little bit of value. The Cup itself, I'm not going to go too in depth here. I'm pretty sure Hobart Cup form, top four were dominant. Might just show it quickly. Just while I'm waiting for that, obviously you've got Aurora Symphony. I actually saw it the other day. It was hard ridden all the way and kept coming when it won. And from barrier 1, I reckon it's going to be a truly run Launceston Cup. But
We're set for the Hobart Cup.
Hobart Cup was very slowly run. And I'll just point out where actually Travelling Gigolo settles 3 back there. Beautiful ride this was. You can't ride horses better than Perez rode this. It ran the quickest last 200 metre split of the day. But if we just have you've got Spirit Ridge, whilst it's sat wide, they weren't going quickly, so it didn't work. In some respects, it's almost better in slowly run races being wide with momentum instead of climbing all over them. You've got the winner in the red colours running about 6th on the outside, and Travelling Gigolo. So here you've got Spirit Ridge, what's its name? The Forest, Dark Dream. The winner here, I've forgotten their names, I'm flying here. What is the name of the winner? I was about to say Mountain Magic. It's Military Mission. I've got and on the outside, you've got Travelling Gigolo. So they're the top 4 and they clear out. The grey horse makes ground late. It'd need a very truly run race. It's probably the next best of the locals. You can see like these 4, it's impossible to make a case for anything outside of this 4. And you see the grey making a bit of ground late. Slow tempo didn't suit it, but would need a lot quicker. So I reckon the winner's in that top 5. I just think if it's a truly run, that the 2 New South Wales horses at the top are the best 2 horses. So I'll go 1 to beat 2, and I'll throw in Travelling Gigolo, same trifecta as in Hobart, and the bolter is Glass Warrior, but there's precious few chances. Super Swoop is ridiculous price. Like I reckon they've confused him with Swoop Dog. It should be 50 to 1. He's minimum. You know, like they opened him as the shortest price Tasmanian horse. Like he's bloody 8 years old and won nothing. But the mares race, this is a tricky one. This is. So there's 2 lines of thinking here. You've got the standard lead-ins. This is Vamos Stakes over 1,400 metres for the mares. During the carnival, there's 2 other mares races. You've got the Lady Lynette, which I think is over 1,100, and the Bow Mistress in Hobart, which is over 1,200. So obviously they all tend to flow in, and the winners generally contest those races. The Bow Mistress on Hobart Cup Day was a bit of a messy race. Actually, Emily's been well backed. I thought she was the best run in this race. She ran second to Turk Warrior on Sunday as well, so she's on the quick backup. It's always a good sign if the horses are going to back up quickly, especially with a trainer like Barry Campbell. So respect that if she does. But we'll have a look at the Bow Mistress in Hobart. So there's a number of these backing up here. So the weird part about this race is that all the place getters here, You've got like Emily's 4 deep, no cover in the Star Thoroughbred colours. You got the winner Belciel, who's last on the outside. You got Serene Striker 3 deep with cover. Miss Tuppence, who's 3 deep, no cover. Like they all ran top 5. They all sat wide. And here's can't think of the name, but also the blue cap. It's like second favourite in the race today. So here they are here. So Serene Striker, Miss Tuppence, Serene Striker. This horse here should be better prepared, sorry. Its name is Embella. So it's $4. And Emily's the widest horse. And here's the winner, Belciel, who's not backing up. So if you look from this is 1,200 metres. So if you look at from a 1,400 metre perspective, like you have to like the way Emily's, obviously the winner's not there. So take the winner out. The 2 strongest late are Embella and Emily. Serene Striker has never been past 1,200 metres in its life. So I think that's where the form comes from there. There was a couple didn't get the best of luck back on the inside. It went okay, like Dunbrody Power and Jar Jar Boogie. So messy race. The other form line I've got here is Reward Achiever. So Reward Achiever's coming back from the Devonport Cups. She's first up for about 6 or 7 weeks. Devonport Cup's 1880. She's always been a bit of a control freak and not the strongest commodity in the world. But if you have a look at just some of these raw stats here, like track and distance, 5 starts, 4 wins and a placing. Distance overall, 8 starts, 6 wins, 2 placings. So it's never missed a start, never missed a place in 8 goes at the trip. It's 4 wins from 5 at track and distance. It's going to go straight to the front. Last start, it led all the way over 1,400 in Launceston. In the Devonport Cup over 1880. Had Sir Simon staring her in the grill, and you see back on the inside, when she was younger, she used to fold up and die over 1,200. She stuck to her guns really well here over 1880. A lot of these horses have subsequent, like Rising Light here, came out and ran 5th in the Hobart Cup. Swoop Dog there, which are amazing. Yeah, I just think at $9, you know what you're going to get. Good track and distance record. Comes through the different form line. I wasn't enamoured with the Bow Mistress form, if truth be told. I do think these two, with Embella and Emily, were the 2 best runs. Forced to pick one from there, I'd go Emily, just from the better draw and the quick backup. But Reward Achiever has a different form line. You're getting about $10, so happy to go that way. And in the last, how long have we been going here for? 38 minutes. So if you've managed to last this long, good on you. And age-old story of, I think you don't need to be Einstein to work out $6 the field. I backed Magic Typhoon in Hobart, had every conceivable, virtually finished dead level with GG True Story. Just this week, I know it's a pretty boring bet, but Barrier 2, Craig knew it. GG True Story, I think he won like 6 of his first 8 or 6 of his first 9, and he's now won 8 of 46. So it means he's won 2 of, say, 35, which isn't ideal. But if you only got to look here, beaten 1 length, 5 lengths, then 1.2, 0.1, 1 length, 1.2, 0.5. You always get a run for your money. Drawn well, top jockey, can race handy, or if can be ridden to the pattern. That's what I'm trying to say. Can sort of dig one in his ribs early if it's leaderish, and if he needs to get to the outside, can just hook him and find a back. So just think it's boring, but safe. So as long as you get paid, you don't care how safe or boring they are. So GG, true story in the last. So best bets. I've changed my mind a few times on this front. So, but the bets I've had already, I've backed Belpine Miss. Can't best bet her because the query on the Victorian horse. It's too, like I do think Rue de Palais wins, but I'm not enamoured with the price to throw it out. Third, same, like just no conviction on that race at all. Same in race 4. I'll make this the best value play, Sunset Gun, in race 4. Query here too, just lining up the horse coming back from the mile versus the 1200 horses. So I'm pretty sure I do like Lalo Pluck in this race. So race 6, number 10. Just, it was only like 3 or 4 starts ago going around in 58 and 62 grade. But this time back in work, it's just gone to a new level. So the thing about Brunton horses, they do train on through a prep. So race 6, number 10, Lalo Pluck. The inevitable obviously speaks for itself. The Cup, not bullish about anything there. The Mares race. So 3 each way plays I'll make. So I'll make the best bet race 6. I don't like making best bets at $3.60, but it is the one I'm most bullish about on the card. So see these idiots who saw somebody, the Sky Channel bloke, retweeting $1.75 winner the other day. I'm like, my God, mate. So the best bet race 6, number 10, and the 3 each way plays will make race 4, number 7, Sunset Gun, race 9, number 4, Reward Achiever, and race 10, number 1, GG True Story. And if you're taking a quaddie, I'd throw in, obviously, the Neville's a free kick in the quaddie. The Cup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. If you really want to take another one, chuck in 5 for peanuts. Race 9, here I'd go thin here and then go really wide in the last leg. I'd just take 3, 4 and 10 in the mares race. And then just load up here as many as you like. I've got, seriously, there's not a horse in here, if you told me, like, there's a couple, like, truth be told, like Cyclone Louis, but Sarah Cotton with first up horses has won at huge odds before. So, yeah, even if you want to put the F in, you've got the free kick there, go thin in the mares race and put the field in the last and just hope for a result. So that's the quaddie. So best bet in the sprint, and each way plays in races 4, 9 and 10. So if you manage to get through 44 minutes and 5 seconds, I commend you. As I mentioned, will be the last preview of sorts. If I do get this website thing up and going, I might do the occasional one just for old time's sake, but I won't make a regular occurrence of it. But for all listeners over the years, like I said, Jesus, must be going on 10 years now, at least 8. So I think I'll be getting better at it by now. But anyway, thanks to everyone. I'll leave you with it. I'll continue doing the trot ones, but until next time, thanks for listening, and let's hope we've managed to land on a couple. It is my favourite race day of the year, so let's hope so. Cheers, guys.